Okay, I had some issues with my alternator, so I had to go ahead and finish it up. But like I say, there's no steps in the process that really need detailed explanation. It's just a matter of routing and drilling is what I'm going to get to. I don't have the final mounting done, but I have the final connections. On my website, SixFiveTurboGarage.com, I have a little bit more detailed information as far as pictures, getting the starter connected and getting it routed. So, but basically what we have here, as per the directions, and again, because the directions are pretty complete, I won't go through the details. However, I will say this, that actually I will stop and make this point. The directions, and I talked to Bruce about this, he's aware, the directions actually are for a newer vehicle, but basically all that means is that the alternator on the newer vehicles are on the passenger side, and the older ones, at least mine, I'm not sure if it's just the year or the fact that mine's a work truck model with the square headlights and whatnot. But anyway, in my 93, it's the alternator's on the driver's side, so you just have to take that into consideration. It's not too tough. Both hot leads have a lead on them, as I showed earlier. This number 4 I have routed down along under the air cleaner, and then over into the junction box onto this first tab here. And then on the driver's side, you have also a lead off of the hot, that's a number 4 as well, and it gets put onto the alternator. So it's considerably shorter. That's all you have to know. They just get switched around, and that's no big deal. So what we ended up doing is hooking up the initial starter routed along the frame rail down here, and again the pictures will be a little bit more in detail, and then we hooked it up, and then we left it loose. Then we went ahead and we laid the connection, the jumper from the passenger to the driver's side down over, and hooked everything up loosely. And I had my stereo and various other things hooked up there, but the bolt was plenty long. By the way, because this has 2 lugs, you'll notice in the kit that there's a 3/4 inch bolt. There's one oddball, it's longer, and that goes here because of the extra jumpers there. And then it traces along. I'm going to go ahead and route it. It looks real nice along the perimeter of the fan shroud here, and then underneath the radiator hose here, and in routes real nice under here. So then I connected it here and hooked it up to the alternator, and then I started on the grounds. I hooked it up to the frame and then over to the negative on the battery, and then the same thing on the passenger side. The negative on the battery goes over to the frame, I'm sorry, to the motor. And it will not, there's a clamp for the factory hose right here, and because these cables, I mean, look at this thing, because these cables are so big, it will not fit in the clamp, and I'm okay with that. It looks like it's rubbing, it's going to rub a little bit right here, so I might just do some zip ties or something like that. Zip ties, actually, you can use routing and make things look fairly decent, so I don't have a problem with that at all. And then the number 4 lead off of the passenger side ground just goes over to the frame. I took a wire brush, a wire wheel to everything, cleaned it all up real nice, and then I used some battery corrosion inhibitor on all the connections as well to make a connection that will stay clean and functional for a good long time. So that's the section that I'm on right now. Basically the last part is I'm going to drill 3/16 holes for the Adele clamps to secure it along here. We're going to get rid of these nasty little factory deals that have been busted and ugly for a long time, and we will go from there.